Thanks for joining us for this special edition of Exploring Idaho. I'm Abby Wilt. Today we're taking a look at just some of the exciting things Idaho has to offer in the summertime, including one of the things people come to Idaho from all over the world to see and take part in. That's rafting. Snowmelt from the Sawtooth and Salmon River Mountains brings rushing currents to southern Idaho on the Payette River, a recreational spot also filled with deep history. We're exploring Idaho today on the main Payette, and we have an awesome group that we're going with. Say hi, everyone. We'll take you there with us.
You get away from the town pretty quickly, and you're out here in the river environment.
The main fork of the Payette River, winding along Highway 55, surges to life when the north and south forks meet in Banks.
We call Banks the center of the universe.
With cold, swirling waters, with thrilling rapids, it's a popular spot for family-friendly whitewater rafting. But in the 1800s, the river served another essential purpose: transporting logs. Before logging roads were built, the Payette River was the way to get trees downstream to the mill. Oxen would carry logs to drop points in places like Smith's Ferry and Banks. From there, crews used dories, or wooden boats, to follow logs down the river to the Base Walker sawmill near Emmetsville. That's now known as Emmett. Log drives happened in the spring and early summer when water was melting from the Sawtooth and Salmon River Mountains, creating the highest and strongest water flows. Today, that snowmelt brings whitewater enthusiasts from all over the world.
Oh, Idaho is really the place to be for rafting. Idaho is world renowned for its whitewater, and the Payette is certainly an integral part of that.
With 4 distinct forks of the Payette River, rafting is a choose-your-own adventure, something for every thrill level.
A lot of it depends on sort of your adventure level.
Whitewater rapids run from Class 1 to Class 5, with 5 being the most extreme.
Class 3, fun, splashy, rapids, a little bit shorter, not so intense. So you can paddle through, but you're not going to really likely fall out of the boat. Class 4 are much longer rapids, more maneuvering, more paddling required.
The 4 separate forks of the Payette range from casual to expert skill levels. The first half of the North Fork from Cascade to Smith's Ferry goes up to Class 3, but from Smith's Ferry to Banks, it's for experts only, with all Class 4 and 5 rapids. The Middle Fork is the most casual section with no major rapids. It's popular with families who want a beginner-level float north of Crouch. The South Fork from Lowman to Banks goes from intermediate to advanced levels with rapids up to Class 4. The main Payette goes up to Class 3, and the most popular section goes from Banks to Horseshoe Bend. This family-friendly route attracts the most visitors, including over 30 kids from the Boise PD's SRO program in early June.
Who's ready to go rafting?
Say hey, you say one, hey!
Right-handed.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, how excited are you guys?
We're excited.
Sweet, and then you can sit right here next to this door. The most important part of these forward and backward calls are my 2 captains up front. What is your name, sir?
Matt.
Matt, what's your name?
Justin.
Matt and Justin are our captains of the boat. Let's go forward 2 times. 1. Nice and steady. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Awesome.
Up and around this corner, we have our first Class 3 rapid of the day. The first rapid we did was with Class 2s. Class 3 is going to be the biggest one that we see today. Paddle! Paddle! Paddle!
Ready?
one another, trusting each other. So make sure that Tegan's in the middle. We gotta equalize the weight here.
Really high up on
All right, we're gonna see if we can get the biggest splash possible in this next rapid. All forward! 2, 1, 2. Oh yeah!
There really is something for everyone here on the Payette. We'll have all of the links on our website of how to do this at ktvb.com. Reporting on the Payette, Abby Wilt, Idaho's News Channel 7. Well, after the break, we're headed to one of the most stunning places in all of Idaho, one that has become Instagram famous for its beauty. But first, let's take a look at a trip down the Payette during a September 1994 episode of Exploring Idaho.
Just a good, fun rapid. Let's go forward easy, and this will be the fun. Yeah! All right.
You might not expect to find water this blue in the middle of Idaho, but tucked away behind volcanic cliffs is Blue Heart Springs. There's no road signs to it and no paths on foot. You have to enter its hidden entrance by crossing the Snake River, like we did. Some places aren't easy to find. So, getting there is just part of the fun. For this Idaho adventure, the journey starts on water, with a quick crash course in kayaking.
It's easiest if you kind of step in the center.
Then a minor crash into my kayak. Oh gosh.
Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
Let's just push off.
And we're off. We launched from Banbury Adventures along the Snake River between Buell and Hagerman, paddling toward Blue Heart Springs.
It's about 1.5 miles downstream. It'll take us around 30-45 minutes to paddle there. If you're in a boat, it usually takes you about 10, maybe 15 minutes.
Along the way, there's plenty of views to take in, of water and wildlife. We launched from the Twin Falls county side, but as common courtesy on the river, we paddled to the right, which then put us in Gooding County. Upon pulling into the mouth of Blue Heart Springs, a hidden gem tucked into the canyon walls, we finally reach our destination.
This is crazy. The sand does look blue.
And that's when the water changes. From murky green to glass clear, allowing us to suddenly see straight to the bottom of the cove.
It's called confluence, where 2 rivers meet.
But the sand below isn't really solid ground.
And actually, it's a false bottom. It's kind of a haze of sand, and you can reach your hand down into it, and it just kind of disappears into the sand.
Blue Heart Springs is fed by natural spring water bubbling up through the sand, straight from the eastern Snake River Plain aquifer.
I think it's a pretty big deal just because of its location. I mean, there's other places in the world that are just as pretty or just as cool, but the fact that it's in southern Idaho and just comes out of the ground here, it just doesn't seem like it fits the area.
The Bonneville flood in the last ice age helped form the Snake River Canyon, where Blue Heart resides. Some of the water in this spring is considered new, having been in the ground for less than a year. But some of it is much older.
It usually takes it about 100 years to travel, and it travels through just this spider web of tunnels and stuff all throughout, which is super cool to think about. All the water here was back from 1920s area, just popping out now.
That water moves through layers of volcanic rock for decades before emerging into this crystal clear, very cool pool.
1, 2, 3.
Usually about 58 degrees, year-round.
It's nice to stand in, waist down, but if you jump in, there's gonna be a shock. Just catch your breath and wait it out.
You just gotta get your breathing under control.
despite the chill, most explorers agree it's worth the plunge. Oh my God, it's cold.
Woo! Whoa, that's good stuff.
I'd say come on a warm day if you're gonna jump in.
I think it's a gem, you know. I think you don't expect it when you look around and see farms, and then you see a couple canyons. You don't expect beautiful blue water. Pretty cool.
Crystal clear blue water, and it's absolutely beautiful. You're missing out.
Blue Heart Springs is just 2 hours away from the Treasure Valley. Come spend the day with your family and your friends and enjoy this hidden oasis. For Exploring Idaho, Audrielle Tackett, Idaho's News Channel 7.
Well, they aren't lying. That does look like one of the most beautiful spots in Idaho. But right after the break, fresh fruit and vegetables are a clear-cut sign summer's in full swing, and there's plenty of Idaho farms where you can go and pick your own. After the break, we'll take you to several in the Treasure Valley. Looking for a fun, hands-on way to enjoy the end of summer? Well, You Pick farms across southwest Idaho are in full swing for the season, and as Audrielle Tackett found out, they're letting visitors experience a piece of farm life.
Most farms are lined with rows of crops, places where only farmers and their equipment are usually welcome. But across the Treasure Valley, a different kind of farm experience is flourishing, one that lets you pick the fruit or the flower. Our first stop was at Williams Fruit Ranch in Emmett.
So this is our family orchard. So we have been on this land for 135 years.
Right off the highway, a winding road leads you to 45 acres of orchards full of tree-ripened fruit, ready to be picked by the public.
You can come and get as much or as little fruit as you want. You come out into the field like this one right here, and you find the best tree-ripened fruit that you can find, and you can pick that, and you can eat it in the fields if you want to do taste testing, and then you just buy it by the pound.
Lisa Williams Garcia runs the 100-acre total farm, working and You Pick with her brother.
My great-grandfather was a surveyor with the railroad, and he came to this valley in about 1885. So he came here, and in the summertime he brought prune trees from the Midwest. So he was originally from Iowa. He met his wife in Boise. They got married here, and they lived here their entire lives.
He started with just one prune orchard.
But by the time his death, he had 160 acres of fruit trees.
More than a century later, the farm grows traditions and a lot of different fruits.
Peaches are on right now. This is our first variety of peach. We've got nectarines coming up. We've got blue Italian prunes, Empress plums, and then we start apples in September, and we've got the galas, the Honeycrisps, Red Delicious, Golden Delicious, Cameos, Fuji's, Jonathans, and Romes.
About 45 minutes south, in the heart of Nampa, flowers are what's harvested at our next farm.
A family-run flower farm here in Nampa, Idaho. This is our 6th season.
Geraldine McCrae turned her passion for planting into profession.
I think there's probably an acre to an acre and a half of flowers to choose from. Got directions out there by the barn with the water, jars, scissors, and you can just come and go when you want.
Open 7 days a week from sunrise to sunset, as long as flowers last through the season. At Mason Creek Flower Farm, you don't need to know what you're doing. Geraldine also has classes, from floral arrangements to paint and sip events, even just tips and tricks for a successful garden in southwest Idaho's high desert climate.
It's definitely a labor of love. For me right now, it's more than what I ever dreamed of. It warms my heart so much.
And to the west, you'll find Cherry Hill Farms, tucked into the fields of Caldwell, a family-owned operation that spans states, but has deep roots right here in Idaho.
We're originally from Santaquin, Utah.
Brett Rowley is the owner of this Treasure Valley farm.
My great-grandpa started farming down there in the mid-1900s, and then grandpa bought a farm down there, and my uncles took it over, and then we've been expanding ever since. So we've been here for about 15 years in this area, and we've loved it.
It's a big operation here in the Treasure Valley. 200 acres total, with 40 dedicated to U-Pick. No matter the season, Rowley and his team find ways to welcome the community in, making farm life an experience year-round.
From early summer all the way through Halloween, we're doing stuff, and then we're hoping to extend that even farther this year into Christmas.
From summer fruit festivals to fall corn mazes, Cherry Hill Farms stacks their calendar with events.
At all of our events, we have a wagon ride. We have a playground here where kids can run and play and enjoy the outdoors a little bit. We have a kitchen, so we have some ice cream and donuts and some treats that you can come and enjoy and hang out. We've got a little yard back there.
Giving families something to come back to year after year.
Cherry season is behind us, peach season is upon us, and then apple season will come in just a few months. Either way, there is so many more fruits and plants to look forward to for the rest of this summer and fall season.
You know, we want to see this farm here for a long, long time, and we want to make it a great opportunity or a great experience for everyone to come and enjoy the orchards for, you know, forever. I mean, we're not planning on going anywhere.
So if you're looking to slow down and savor the season, Treasure Valley's U-Pick farms make it easy. No schedule, no rush, just fresh air and ready picks.
Who says Georgia has the best peaches?
For Exploring Idaho, Audrielle Tackett, Idaho's News Channel 7.
Those peaches are looking very refreshing. Well, after the break, we're headed south to check out one of the most unique places in the country, one that we happened to visit on the hottest day of the year. But first, let's take a look back to an original episode of Exploring Idaho from 1997, where we met up with two ladies who decided to visit an almond orchard on a fall day.
For families or groups of friends, wandering through an apple orchard on a sunny afternoon with a wooden apple basket on your arm is a timeless getaway.
Oh, it's beautiful. That's why I picked today. And yesterday I was too busy with things, and
we decided to take out and go and get some apples.
Right. We got done with our
Get our
lunch.
winter
I said,
apples.
let's leave the dishes and go pick apples. That's more fun.
Sure.
In the middle of southern Idaho's desert stands the tallest single-structured sand dune in North America. At 470 feet, it looks like you just walked onto the set of a sci-fi movie. Audrielle Tackett takes us to a place where you can camp, climb, fish, ride, and gaze into the galaxies.
It looks like a scene straight out of Star Wars. But this landscape is actually the high desert in Idaho, where you can surf sand by day and study the stars by night. Bruneau Dunes State Park is 4,800 acres of pure adventure.
You can go camping, you can go fishing, you can go bike riding, fly kites, go hiking, all the things. But we have two things that most don't, and that's the sandboarding, which is definitely a bucket list. We also have two public observatories here.
Opened in 1967, Bruneau Dunes State Park has become a bucket list destination. Its massive sandscape formed by the Bonneville flood some 15,000 years ago, and still being sculpted by the winds to this day.
We get our wind from the west about half the year and from the east the other half of the year, and so eventually over time it just swept all that sand up into the dunes that we see behind me.
Park manager Bryce Bialba says the dunes are also studied for space exploration.
There's been some study about the sand movement here to project to future Mars missions as to how the sands would move on Mars when we eventually send some of our exploratory missions there.
Visitors come to hike, ride, even slide the dunes. But in the dead of summer, the scorching sand reaches dangerous temperatures.
It's 103 degrees outside today, and this sand, is about 130.
So when temps top 80, the park's sandboard rentals stop. But for heat-loving adventurers, there are 3 campgrounds always open. The oldest, Broken Wheel, sits less than a mile from one of the park's 2 lakes.
This is the original and most popular campground. This one is great because there's some larger central lawns, so I often see families that'll bring out volleyball nets or they'll play pass.
Another campground, Eagle Cove, was added in 2000, but it's in the middle of a $300,000 upgrade, bringing modern comfort to the desert wild.
We actually xeriscaped it this year, put it on drip irrigation, rocked a lot of the campground in different types of rocks so it just doesn't look monochromatic. And then we added a lot of trees. We still have about 100 plants and shrubs coming in.
No reservations needed for the equestrian campground, with trails leading straight into the backcountry.
We do have about 15 miles of horseback trails, including corrals and year-round water. We've got 5 stalls so people can bring their horses and go for a ride.
As the sun sets in the high desert, this dark sky park becomes a portal to the planets.
The views that we get are just absolutely amazing.
Astronomy ranger Greg Harmon helps lead the night sky experiences. From March to October, the state's biggest public telescopes give visitors a look into space.
There's a lot of things to see. Usually we'll start with brighter like double stars, planets if there's anything available, and we'll point out the Milky Way or we'll point out constellations. Our new observatory also has a projection system on the ceiling, and it basically turns it into a mini planetarium.
And if you're up for one last exploration, head into the dark desert for a glow-in-the-dark scorpion walk.
We actually have a few of our park aides that go out and they give talks about the scorpions and how to find them. We have 3 different species here in the park, and so they find those with the UV lights.
A place for sandboarding, stargazing, fishing, scorpion searching, or just sitting back to enjoy the view. Bruneau Dunes State Park is in between the Treasure Valley and the Magic Valley, and it welcomes tens of thousands of people every year. For Exploring Idaho, Audrielle Tackett, Idaho's News Channel 7.
And right after the break, you might think of Bogus Basin as just for skiing and snowboarding, but we'll tell you it actually has some great summer activities too. We're headed up the mountain to see all of the activities that are there during the summer months. But first, a look back at the sand dunes in 1993.
When the sun comes over the dunes, nature's alarm clock sounds. Thousands of birds hail in the new day. Ducks swim through the mist to reach the first touch of a May Day sunrise. Get up early so you don't miss the show.
Well, we've been showing you clips from some original Exploring Idaho episodes. Good news, you can now watch every episode right now on KTV Plus and on our YouTube page. I'll be going back and watching all of those. Now, it is primarily known for its world-class skiing, but did you know Bogus Basin, which operates as a nonprofit, also offers summer activities on the mountain? During the summer, Bogus Basin offers activities like a ropes course that takes you 50 feet above ground and the Glade Runner mountain coaster that races through the trees. Our Gabrielle Salgado went to Bogus Basin to try out some of the summer fun and talk to the people who make the magic happen. Sustainability and Stewardship Coordinator Nate Collins says aside from the thrill-seeking, Bogus Basin's main goal is to give back to the community that built it.
Which means that not only do we need to provide like super cool recreational opportunities, but we also need to be a good member of our community, to take care of our mountain, and that extends like to the planet and the rest of our community around us.
Bogus Basin also promotes environmental education, teaching about native plants and wildlife. You can watch the entire story right now at ktvb.com. Thank you so much for joining us for this special edition of Exploring Idaho. Remember, you can see a new part of Idaho every Thursday night at 10. And you can watch all previous episodes, including the originals, right now on KTVB+, KTVB.com, and the KTVB YouTube page.
Continue with us and watch free now on the KTVB Plus app everywhere you stream.